asked about hobbies, you said reading the Federal Register.
Yep.
That's
Little tongue in cheek there.
little tongue in cheek there. Yeah. I remember when those things were paper and came in the mail.
So do I. That's we're dating both of us now.
I know, I know. Y'all had the TCA's call in Washington recently.
We did.
Just kind of briefly recap what it is that TCA does in its call on Washington.
Well, this is an opportunity for our members to come in town and talk about the issues that are important to the association and the issues that are affecting the truckload environment. Things like electric vehicles, truck parking, hair testing for drugs and alcohol, the independent contractor business model. This year was our largest one. We had over 100 meetings, plus a meeting with FMA, plus a meeting with the Canadian entity. So it is that opportunity that they can really talk about the issues that are affecting their business.
So, what were some of the biggest issues that was on people's mind they wanted to talk to us about, talk to legislators about?
Sure. The electric vehicle mandate that's coming out of both EPA as well as California, that our industry is really starting to grapple with, and the problems that go down that road. You know, the more questions we ask, the more answers we don't have.
Right.
When it comes to this type of equipment. I know our membership walked away knowing that they made an impact, knowing that they're talking about the things that matter to them, and in talking about it on the ears that are really listening. So, you know, we always don't assume that our legislators know the trucking industry. It's up to us to tell them about it. And if we don't tell them about it, then certainly that becomes problematic.
I know you had TCA Drivers of the Year. Did they participate in some of the meetings with legislators?
If there was the most valuable player in our legislative hill visits, it's our drivers of the year. As I understand it, in the meetings that they were in, they were leading the discussions. So it goes without saying that they were the ones that really make the wheels turn on these visits.
You mentioned that there's a lot of issues out there. The emissions, that seems to be one of the biggest topics we keep hearing about from our readers and listeners and viewers. Tell us a little bit more about kind of what your conversations went like on that issue.
We call them a question of exactly how this is going to work when we don't have a comparable piece of equipment to the diesel-powered engine.
Right.
There are so many pieces that are different, and just doesn't hold in the interruptions, the freight interruptions, the productivity interruptions that are going to occur if it were to happen today would be monumental. To say the things like battery weight, because of the weight of the battery, we would have to take freight off the truck and we'd have to put it on another truck. So now you'd need 2 trucks for every one that's operating on the roads today, which isn't going to be good for the infrastructure, to say nothing of the power out there, and the charging availability and how drivers are going to log it. You know, when you're filling with diesel, you have to log it on duty, not driving. So does that same hold true for our drivers if they're charging? Because we know that these trucks have a tendency to catch on fire at certain times. So they certainly would have responsibility over the truck when they're charging. Charging is not a 20 to 25-minute chore like it is with diesel.
Yeah.
It becomes hours on end. So if you log that on duty, you're talking about massive disruption, massive activity loss when it comes to things like that. And these are the questions that we're posing to our legislators and saying these are going to be real issues and real problems. And of course, it's not always sunny and 72-degree weather that our drivers are operating or would have to operate in with this equipment. And climate certainly affects the performance of these vehicles. So I think it's all across the board. The more questions, the more answers there aren't. And it becomes a situation of, okay, let's turn the lights on this and let's see how it really goes. Why are we just picking a winner in electric vehicles when there's other things we can do to achieve the same end game, so to speak?
Anything else that you think came out of those conversations that you'd like our readers to know about?
I just would say anybody that's reading the stories, don't miss out on your opportunity to go to DC or take a visit in your home district. It is always a worthwhile cause to talk about trucking, and we can never have enough people talking about the issues that are affecting their businesses. Take drivers with you. Drivers, as I said, were the MVPs of the visits, without a doubt. So don't miss that opportunity to talk to those that legislate about what's going on in your business and what keeps those wheels rolling.
All right. Well, David, I appreciate you taking the time to chat today about the visit to Washington.
Deb, anytime you need me, I'm happy to ring in.